Hi, this is Shannon with Afterthoughts, and today I will be reviewing Arrow, episode 13, and this episode is titled Heir to the Demon. So let's get right into the episode. Today we open up with a very attractive, exotic-looking woman at the airport, and when she gets through to the checkpoint, we hear her name, which is actually just her last name, which is Ratko. And so we know that to be Nyssa, who is actually Ra's al Ghul's love child. Once they scan her passport, she pops up on the computer as dangerous person, so they call all the guards in, and it's a pretty cool fight scene at the airport. And of course she whips tail, and she gets out of there. So we know she's affiliated with the League of Assassins, so we can pretty much conclude that she's there to pick up Black Canary. So the next scene, we're going to see Laurel in the hospital, and the last episode we left her fainting and seeing kind of a vision of her sister Sarah. So she wakes up in the hospital, and they focus in on her eye. So we find out later in the episode that she had been poisoned by some type of venom from Nyssa in order to basically set a trap for the Black Canary, Sarah. I'm excited because this episode basically featured Sarah throughout the whole episode. So we can break down all the flashbacks. The flashbacks, we see the evolution of Sarah getting on the boat to go see Oliver when the boat I guess goes down and goes missing. So her and her sister Laurel get into a fight, so that pretty much guarantees that she was going to take this trip with Oliver because her sister is trying to get an apartment with him. And Sarah has this talk with her, like, are you sure he's ready to settle down? And Laurel is pulling the hating card and telling her sister basically that she's hating on her. So that pushes Sarah to get on the boat, and the other flashbacks we see what happens and how she finds out that Sarah was on the boat. Actually, Moira came over to deliver them the news, which was kind of a touching scene, and you can tell the cracks start occurring in Laurel's veneer. So we're going to go back to Sarah coming back into town. So we know that Nyssa's there to retrieve her for the League of Assassins. Sarah's walking down a dark alley, and lo and behold, Nyssa finds her, shows up, and we think a big fight's gonna ensue, and they get closer. You know why I'm here, and Black Canary, we don't really know why we think they're gonna fight, and lo and behold, they are lesbian lovers, and they kiss, and it was quite shocking to see, but fun at the same time. But I was not expecting that at all. I don't know if I should expect that because I didn't read the comic book, but it was quite nice. It was pretty awesome, so pretty shocking. Way to go, WB. So now we see that Ra's al Ghul's daughter and Sarah have this relationship that I'm sure we'll get further details in the future. So Nyssa's pretty much there to, not just to take her back to the League of Assassins, but just to be with her. So Arrow finds out that they were lovers, and pretty much it scares Nyssa off. So Nyssa then concocts the plan to kidnap Sarah's mom at the hospital when she goes to go see Laurel. So now I want to get into Felicity for a minute here. Felicity makes an appointment with Moira Queen and goes and talks to her, and had been doing a little bit of investigating since she had been monitoring this account. I forget exactly what it's called, but it had something to do with the earthquake device. So there was an account that she was monitoring, and it pinged for a transaction, and she followed the transaction, and it led to the doctor. So she knows that Thea is not a queen, but she's actually a Merlin. So she takes this news to Mrs. Queen and tells her, you have a chance right now to tell Oliver before I do. So at this point, I'm like, Felicity is getting on my nerves a little bit. And I understand she feels it's her place, but you don't go straight to the head of the household. That's something, you know, just if you're going to tell Oliver, then tell Oliver. You're not going to sit there and threaten Miss Queen. So, of course, Miss Queen didn't appreciate that too much and put her in her place. Because if she explains to Felicity, if you tell Oliver, he's going to be just as mad at you as he is at me. So then we get to the time where Oliver is about to announce his mom, that she's running for mayor. And Felicity picks, right before he goes on stage to make this announcement, she picks this time as the perfect time to explain to Oliver that his sister is only his half-sister. And you can see it all over his face. And he has to get up in front of these people and back his mom up, and Felicity delivers this news to him. I was so irritated and pissed off at this point. I just couldn't believe it. All the selfish things to do because she felt guilty because she knew this information and she couldn't keep it from Oliver for another 5 freaking minutes. I want to cuss so bad. She pissed me off so bad. So that's my little rant on Felicity this episode. My goodness, how annoying is that? Was annoying. I can't believe it. Felicity, shut the F up, please. Just be quiet, stay in your place. Give the man 5 minutes, then tell him afterwards. So that breaks up the relationship that was just patched up between he and his family. So now he disowns his mother in privately. He explains to her, I'm going to disown you, but in only privately. Out in public, since you're running for mayor, I'm going to be the good son. Thea's never going to know, and now you've made a liar out of me because now I don't want Thea to know, so now I have to lie to Thea. And I had to lie to the world and have your back knowing that you're a liar. So that was a pretty good scene, I thought, from Oliver and Stephen Amell. I appreciated his passion behind that, and I would have done the same thing if I found out some news about that. My mom didn't tell me, so I just can't believe Felicity. I just shut up. There's a time and a place, and that was not the time nor the place. So off of that subject, after the kidnapping, Nyssa calls Sarah, tells her she's got 24 hours to come back with her or something's going to happen to her mom. So now her dad and Laurel are on the hunt, or no, her dad and Sarah are on the hunt for the mother. And a shortcut to Sebastian, who goes to Moira and threatens her also. Out of respect for the relationship I have for your son, I want you to drop out. Just get out now because I don't want to destroy you in front of your family. So I thought that was kind of cool. But then, of course, Moira, she bites back. You know, she's not going to let anybody scare her off from what she needs to do. And she tells him not to underestimate her, which I wouldn't because she's very sneaky. That's a very sneaky lady right there. We see some touching stuff where I guess you could say that Sarah was coming out to her father and asked if she was upset that, you know, that used to be her lover. So she's not necessarily a lesbian per se, but she might be bisexual because, well, I'll tell you in a few minutes at the end of this review. We see an awesome fight between Arrow and Nyssa when the Black Cat, or Sarah, goes to save her mom. We think that she's taking this venom to go poison Nyssa, but she actually poisons herself, and Arrow saves her in the end. And surprise, surprise, Nyssa, in the name of Nyssa Al Ghul, I release you. So she's been released from the League of Assassins now, so hopefully she can mend these bridges with her family and Oliver. And at the very end, we see Laurel finding out that her sister is alive. So this scene right here, I will tip my hat to Laurel, or the actress that plays Laurel, because not only, but she looks terrible, and I think she's supposed to look terrible because she's getting over a drug addiction, and she's an alcoholic right now, so her life's in a downward spiral. Like, you can't even see her lips, they're gone. I don't know what happened to her lips. She kind of has a Skeletor thing going on. But I will hand it to her in this scene. She blames everything bad in her life on Sarah. So she finally gets that anger out that she's been mourning this whole time that Sarah had died, and she didn't have a chance to be angry that she was sleeping with her boyfriend. So now all these terrible angry feelings are coming out, and I thought she did a great job at achieving that anger. So kudos to Laurel for that. She blames her for Oliver. She blames her pretty much for her drug addiction and her alcoholism. She blames her for the dissolution of her parents' marriage, which is true because they broke up behind the hunt for Sarah. So Sarah has to take a moment, and she's got to let her go ahead and get this anger out, and she's going to have to deal with it for a while, because what Sarah did was wrong. But Laurel thinks the whole reason why she never said anything was because she was such a terrible sister. But, you know, she was going through her own things and her own adventures. So I really appreciated Laurel in this episode. Kudos. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm going to give this episode an A. We didn't see Roy at all, which I was okay. I didn't miss him at all because his last outing was so super annoying. So definitely an A on this episode. And at the end, we see Sarah and Oliver hook up passionately. So the ship has happened. I don't know if you want to call it Green Cat or Black Arrow, but it's pretty awesome and it was pretty sexy. So kudos to this actress for getting her groove on this whole episode. She was kissing, making out, you know, pretty fiercely and really hot with two hot people. So congratulations to you, Black Cat. Oh, I'm sorry, Black Canary. I hope I haven't called her Black Cat through this whole thing. I'm so sorry. Black Canary. Okay. So that would be the end of my review, and I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any comments, if you agree with my review, disagree with my review, please feel free to leave them down there in the comments, and I will respond. And so this has been Shannon with Afterthoughts, and we'll see you guys later. Bye!